Hey everybody, things just got very real on Game of Thrones. Let's talk about episode 4 of season 6, Book of the Stranger. The episode started out with an incredible scene between Jon and Ed at Castle Black. Ed is trying to convince Jon to continue on as Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, and Jon is just not having it. He speaks of his plans to head down south and that he doesn't really have many plans besides that. But as Jon is getting ready to leave, one of the best things in this entire episode happened. Something we have all been waiting for since season 1. We hear the gates of Castle Black being opened, and at this moment, I started to lose it. I was screaming. It was just the most wonderful thing ever because Sansa, Brienne, and Podrick arrived. And the significance of this is great. Jon and Sansa have never had a scene together on this show. Kit Harington and Sophie Turner have never been in a scene together, conversing with one another on this show. And we got several amazing scenes between the two characters that I need to rewatch them several times because they were that good. They were that good. And what was really great about this was the emotional buildup of the scene. When Sansa walks into the square, Jon walks out, he sees her, they see one another, and Jon slowly approaches Sansa, and then Sansa basically runs into his arms and they hug for a very long moment, and it is just gold. It was so perfect and everything that I wanted. I was screaming all the while, Stark reunion, Stark reunion. Also, first scene ever between Jon and Sansa. So great, so wonderful. Thank you, writers. We needed this. We so needed this. I was thinking she might arrive after Jon had left and we'd be like, aw, dang it. Because there have been a lot of hit and miss Stark reunions on this show in the past, and finally, we got it, and it was perfect. So basically, in the conversations between Sansa and Jon, we see Sansa asking Jon for his help to take back Winterfell. Jon is just not having it. He's still set on his plans to head south and do whatever he plans to do. I don't know what he's planning to do at this moment. But Sansa has a very strong argument, and you could see Jon really starting to think about it. And also another scene we get to see at Castle Black is a scene between Melisandre and Davos. He is asking her what her plans are, and she says she plans to go wherever Jon goes and do as he commands her or whatever. She's basically gonna start following him as she followed Stannis. Now, something really great about the scenes between her and Davos is that he is still trying to find out what happened to Stannis and Shireen. And as he is asking Melisandre about this, once again, Brienne walks up and she tells Davos that she killed Stannis. She does not say anything about Shireen, so Davos still has no idea that Melisandre put the idea into Stannis' head to burn his daughter alive and that it was done, and that Shireen suffered a great deal. So once Davos finds this out, I really think shit is gonna hit the fan and, oh, he's gonna be out for blood. He is going to be out for blood. Now, I'm going to get back to Castle Black and what all else went down there at the end of the episode. But first, let's talk about all of the other characters and what all they have been up to. Now, one of the other things that we see in this episode is finally we see Petyr Baelish, Littlefinger, and yeah, he arrives back at the Eyrie to inform Robb and Arryn that his cousin Sansa has escaped from Winterfell and is heading north to Castle Black to reunite with her brother Jon Snow, and that she is not going to be safe over there. So they gather the guards of the Vale, and apparently they're gonna go protect her, or I don't know. It's Littlefinger. You can't trust him. I don't know what he's gonna do, but it's definitely gonna be something not great. Okay, so let's jump on over to King's Landing and talk about what all went down over there, because yeah, things are just crazy as ever over there. Things are crazy. It's King's Landing and the Lannisters are in control, and, well, not really in control because, yeah, things are really bad over there. Marjorie has a meeting with the High Sparrow, and after this meeting, she is allowed to meet with her brother Loras, And Loras is a complete mess. He is crying in her arms and he wants things to just end. And after that, we see a scene between Tommen and Cersei where he's telling Cersei that he kind of wants to take a step back from the High Sparrow to protect Margaery. And she just continues to try to guide him and get him to follow her in all things Cersei and her great ideas, which, let's be honest, they're not great ideas. She has a lot of bad ideas. And he then tells her that the High Sparrow has informed him that Margaery is going to take the Walk of Atonement, and Cersei relays this information to Olenna. So yeah, that is what causes an alignment between Cersei, Jaime, their uncle, and Olenna. I can't wait to see how things go down between them and the High Sparrow and the Sept, and who's gonna win. I'm really interested to see who's gonna win and hope Clegane happens by the end of the season. Alright, so let's head across the Narrow Sea and talk about what all went down in Meereen and Vaes Dothrak, because wow. Now, in Meereen, there aren't a lot of scenes, but the one huge scene that just blew my mind was the meeting between Tyrion, Varys, Missandei, Grey Worm, and the Masters. Tyrion tries and pretty much successfully negotiates with the Masters to abolish slavery over the course of 7 years. Yeah, they're kind of getting their way, Tyrion, but Tyrion has kind of run out of options at this point. Daenerys is who knows where, and he has to figure out a way to maintain the peace, and this is the best option at the moment. So yeah, Missandei and Grey Worm are not thrilled about this, and I don't think Daenerys is going to be very thrilled either. Now, let's jump on over to Vaes Dothrak and the Temple of the Dosh Khaleen, because Daenerys raises hell. Oh yeah, she is not taking any of this mess. She is spoken down to by a bunch of the Khaleesi's, and as she is being spoken down to, she kind of creates some alliances, especially with a very young one, as Daario and Jorah attempt to rescue Daenerys. It is an incredible scene, and Daenerys has to trust this girl not to betray her, because she tells them that she has a better idea. She is not leaving without getting what she wants, and oh yes, I didn't have a clue at that moment exactly what was going to go down, but what went down was perfect. Also, another thing I thought was really great about this episode was that we got several great moments between Daario and Jorah. Daario discovers that Jorah is infected and says that he will take care of Jorah when the time comes. And there are just a lot of great scenes, especially when Jorah tries to get Daario to enter the city without any weapons. Yeah. Daario was not having that, and he entered with his special knife that he refused to part with, and it saved Jorah's life. So yes, thank you, Daario. Thank you very much. I'm gonna come back to Daenerys and all that went down with her in this episode, but first, let's go to the Iron Islands and talk about Theon and Yara's reunion. When Theon arrives back home at the Iron Islands, he is still a vulnerable mess, and his sister is very unwelcoming. It takes him breaking down and crying for her to really begin to understand what all he went through. And she just gets up in his face and gets tough with him, tough love, and asks him, "What do you want?" And he tells her he wants to help her rule the Iron Islands. I don't think he wants to actually really rule. I think at this point he just wants to live out his life and find some semblance of peace. And hopefully helping his sister with this will provide him with that. Okay, so let's jump on over to Winterfell and the horrible scene that I totally saw coming. I totally called it, and I am sad that I did, because Ramsay, spoiler alert, killed Osha. Yeah, I just knew he wouldn't have any use for her, and that he probably learned everything he needed to know about her from Theon, and he tells her of this, and as she is trying to seduce and kill him, he stabs her in the throat, and she dies, and another one bites the dust. After that, we jump back over to Castle Black. We see Jon, Sansa, Tormund, Brienne, Podrick, Ed, everyone that really matters, sitting at a table eating, and Sansa is still trying to get Jon to come and help her take back Winterfell. And another thing that happened in this scene that I have to point out because it was awesome. Tormund was making eyes at Brienne, and Brienne was just like, yeah. So I am interested to see if there's going to be a little love connection between those two. I think it would be cute. I love those two characters and would be interested to see them together. Now, back to the point at hand. As Sansa is continuing to try to convince Jon to help her, Jon receives a letter. And it is quite the letter. It's a letter from Ramsay. It is at this moment that Jon finds out that Ramsay has taken control of Winterfell, Roose Bolton is dead, and Ramsay is holding Rickon captive. Oh, his face just looked murderous. As he read the note, his face just got more and more. Oh, Jon is gonna kill Ramsay. Jon is gonna kill Ramsay good. I think it's gonna happen this season, and it is gonna be quite the scene. Also, as he continues to read this letter, there's a moment where he stops because what it says next just, he doesn't want to say it because it's just blowing his mind how insane Ramsay is. It says that if Jon does not turn Sansa back over to Ramsay, he will allow his men to rape Sansa, he will kill Rickon, and then he will gouge Jon's eyes out. And I just, wow. The imagery this letter brought to mind, yeah, I don't want it to happen. I don't want it to happen. I don't want it to come to pass. And Jon most certainly doesn't as well. And it is at this moment that Jon agrees to help Sansa take back Winterfell. And yes, finally, Jon is going down the path he needs to go down. We still don't have confirmation of R+L=J, but I think we will get that very soon. Now let's jump back to Vaes Dothrak and what went down between Daenerys and all of the Khals. As she is meeting with the Khals, she becomes increasingly unimpressed with them and calls them small men. She tells them that she wants to rule them, and they just laugh at her and say they're going to rape her and get rid of her. And it is at this moment she just looks at them and she tells them, if you won't follow me, then you're gonna die. And she burns the temple down. She walks out of that temple, clothes burned off once again, just like in episode 10 of season 1, and every single person bows down to her. And it is just such a stunning scene to watch. I was blown away by it. One thing that I was surprised by was that we didn't see Drogon come and raise hell. I was fully expecting him to come kill all the Khals. But I think this was actually better because Daenerys did this completely on her own and she outsmarted them. And yeah, she now has her army. She is basically the queen of the Dothraki. Seeing Daenerys in this strong a position of power has been a long time coming, and I cannot wait to see her head to Westeros and kick some ass. Alright, so that wraps up my recap and review for this week's episode of Game of Thrones. I hope you stay tuned to my recap and review for next week. If you enjoyed this, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye guys!